I was 41 when it happened. Old enough to know better, young enough to think I could handle the fire. I'd been with the company for 15 years, longer than some marriages last. I had carved out a reputation as reliable, the guy who delivered on deadlines, the one bosses could lean on. That reputation vanished in less than a year, erased by a mistake that wore perfume and laughed at my jokes. Her name was Claire. She was new to the department, early 30s, sharp in ways that made you feel both seen and challenged. She joined my project team, and at first it was professional, long hours hunched over reports, caffeine-fueled brainstorming sessions, late-night emails pinging in my inbox. But work blurs into life when you spend that much time with someone. And in those blurred edges, something dangerous grew. I told myself it was harmless. Just conversation. Just someone who made the office less gray. I ignored the way my pulse jumped when her hand brushed mine passing a file. I ignored the voice in my head that said, "This is a line you do not cross." But I crossed it. It started with drinks after work, just two colleagues. Unwinding. Then it became a habit, and then a secret. Dinners that ran too long, text messages at midnight, stolen moments in conference rooms when the office was empty. Every time, I told myself I'd stop. Every time I didn't. I was married. 2 kids, mortgage, a wife who had stood by me through lean years and layoffs. Claire was single, unattached. She said she liked that I was steady. I knew she meant boring in the kind of way that suddenly felt exotic to her. I felt alive in those moments with her, like I'd rediscovered a part of myself I didn't know had gone missing. But secrets rot. They always do. The first crack came when someone in accounting saw us at a restaurant outside of town. By Monday, whispers spread. Meetings went quiet when I entered. A colleague joked loudly, "Guess we know why your team's always working late." Laughter followed, but it had an edge that cut. I could feel control slipping. Claire and I argued more, about when to meet, about who was taking more risk. She wanted me to leave my wife. I told her it wasn't that simple. She accused me of cowardice. I accused her of impatience. The same fire that once thrilled me began to scorch. Then came the audit. Our division was under scrutiny for expenses, and my boss called me in. "There's a perception problem," he said carefully, sliding a folder across the desk. Inside were receipts, dinners Claire and I had expensed as client meetings. Technically, we weren't stealing, but technically we weren't clean either. HR got involved. Questions turned into investigations. My marriage, already strained by my late nights and half-truths, collapsed under the weight of exposure. My wife found messages on my phone, proof more damning than rumors. She packed a bag, took the kids, and left me with silence and a note that simply said, I deserved honesty. Claire didn't fare better. She was reassigned, then quietly let go under the guise of department restructuring. She texted me once after, "We ruined each other, didn't we?" I didn't reply. There was nothing left to say. The office that had once been my second home turned hostile. Colleagues avoided me. The break room emptied when I walked in. My boss, who had trusted me with million-dollar accounts, now barely looked me in the eye. My career stalled, then nosedived. I wasn't fired outright, but the message was clear: resign before we push you. So I did. I moved into a small apartment near the highway, the kind with beige walls and neighbors you never meet. Weekends without my kids felt like amputations. I stared at the empty living room and thought about how a single decision can detonate a whole life. Sometimes, late at night, I replay it all: the first drink with Claire, the first kiss, the moment I should have said no. I wonder if I was chasing youth, or ego, or just the thrill of being wanted. Whatever it was, it cost me everything I built. Now I freelance, scraping by. My kids visit every other weekend, and I try to be present for them, though I can see the caution in their eyes, the way trust doesn't come easy anymore. My ex-wife doesn't speak to me beyond logistics. Claire vanished. Last I heard, she moved out of state. People think affairs are about passion. Sometimes they are. But more often, they're about escape. And escapes always end, when the office lights come back on, when the receipts pile up, when the truth surfaces. I thought I was in control. I thought I could juggle 2 lives without dropping anything. But life doesn't work that way. You drop everything eventually. And when the dust settles, all you're left with is the sound of your own choices echoing in an empty room.